Listen!
Welcome everyone, this is Andres Restart, and I gotta tell you, I might be wrong about when we're gonna get that Nintendo Direct. So, basically, last week I put out a prediction video that we are going to see the next Nintendo Direct in early July. That was my prediction, and maybe that still ends up being the case. But it's also totally possible it could happen well beyond July. It could also happen before July, technically. There's still some time left in June. And there's been some recent going-ons that seem to be indicating that a Nintendo Direct actually might be happening next week. You may have heard about this already, but we're going to be going into a little bit more detail today. Before going further though, let me point out that we are aiming to hit 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you do enjoy my content, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. With your help, it just might be possible. And if you're looking to save a little bit of money on your game downloads, consider checking the link in the description below for Instant Gaming. There you can save some money on some games on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and even Switch, and if you do, it would also help out the channel a little bit. So when I made my prediction last week, I decided to give up on the end of June being when we could see the Direct, but of course, you never really know. And while I've been thinking for a while, since we knew E3 was getting cancelled, since actually even before that, since we knew Nintendo would not be attending E3, that, in my opinion, the Direct would happen sometime between the latter half of June and the first half of July. But last week we got that Pikmin 4 trailer. We had recently also gotten the Everybody Want to Switch announcement, and then Jeff Grubb came out and said that he heard murmurings or rumblings of something happening in July. So it was at that point I decided to try and pinpoint a date, and I predicted July 5th, which would be the first Wednesday of the month. But when you think about it, Nintendo Directs rarely happen at the beginning of the month. They're usually in the second or third week. But I picked such an early time because Pikmin 4 is coming out July 21st. There needs to be somewhat of a window between the Direct and Pikmin, I think, because they're probably going to showcase Pikmin a fair bit during this presentation. And I also thought they wouldn't be having a major Direct shortly after the recent Pikmin 4 trailer because they gave us more news on Pikmin 4. But something else to consider is that we've gotten trailers for games before, and then shortly thereafter, Nintendo still showcases those games in the next Direct. So for example, I remember in September of 2021, Nintendo showcased a big trailer for Metroid Dread. I believe it was the overview trailer. And with that, we thought, okay, I guess we're not getting a Nintendo Direct, except shortly after, they announced the Nintendo Direct, and Metroid Dread still had a significant segment during that Direct. Point being, a single trailer isn't necessarily going to be all they're going to say about a particular game that's coming in the not-so-distant future. If they have more than one opportunity to advertise the game, they are going to do so. And that Pikmin 4 trailer was a very short trailer. There's still a lot more to be said about the game. But with Jeff Grubb said, I decided to go ahead and make the prediction of July 5th. But now this week, a whole bunch of different people are saying it's happening next week, June 21st. So 2 weeks before I thought it was going to happen. But that still would be in the late June period, and it's a few weeks removed from the E3 time. So who's saying this? Well, a lot of different people are apparently saying this. Our buddy Nintendo Prime put out on Twitter yesterday that he's hearing from 6 different people that a Direct is next week. Now, he does go on to say that he can't verify all of the information from all these people except for one, but that is a lot of people reaching out. And he still has one that he can verify. But I also think it should be said that there are some out there talking about how another industry insider, Nate the Hate, has been talking about a Nintendo Direct happening on June 21st. Well, it's not so clear if that was actually the case. And it's kind of funny how this worked out. So I was tweeting about my Mario Kart video that I posted yesterday. And it was brought up in the chat that some people were making videos talking about how Nate the Hate was teasing a Nintendo Direct on June 21st. Well, interestingly, Nate the Hate responded to this and said, "Did I? I tweeted a random percentage to a question that had nothing to do with Nintendo. So here Nate the Hate seems to be suggesting that he didn't tease a June 21st date, and that maybe some who are making content about him teasing this date might be jumping the gun a little bit. But looking through this thread and chain of replies, it still seems like he might be suggesting it could still happen in June. And maybe it could happen on June 21st. Nintendo Directs tend to happen on Wednesdays when they're not locked to a particular E3 timing, at least as of late. And I would say because we usually don't see them at the end of the month or even in the beginning of the month, maybe there's something here. I'm not saying I'm wrong with my prediction, I don't know, but a lot of people seem to be suggesting that a Nintendo Direct could be happening next week. I will say that it is strange that a whole bunch of other companies, basically most of the industry, just came out with a myriad of announcements. And Nintendo is oddly quiet. Why are they being so quiet? Well, maybe we'll find out soon. Maybe there's going to be a Nintendo Direct next week, and there still will be another presentation of sorts that happens in early July, as I predicted. What those might be, it is hard to say for sure, but one thing is clear. Nintendo's entire second half lineup, but Pikmin 4, is entirely a mystery right now to the public. And Nintendo does eventually need to talk about that. I do think they've been quiet up to this point because they haven't been locked down to a particular time slot because of E3 not really being a thing this year, and also because they want to give Tears of the Kingdom proper space because it is such a major game that Nintendo fans are focused on right now. So I guess I'm taking the L ahead of time if I am wrong with my prediction. Not that I think it's a big deal, because ultimately it's just about talking about what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And what makes sense is that Nintendo was going to wait a little bit after the beginning of June, and late June would still fit that window. And that may also mean we could have a bevy of cool announcements next week that are going to give us a lot to talk about for the foreseeable future, and let us know about really exciting things we're going to be playing later into the year. Maybe Metroid Prime 4, maybe some Tears of the Kingdom DLC, maybe the next Mario game, or the long-rumored Donkey Kong. There are so many possibilities. And if it doesn't happen next week, well, there's still July, so we'll see what happens. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. This is Andres Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care. Bye.